the society from 3,000 years ago. Buddha knew it like the back of his hand. He explained it so clearly and plainly. Fellow practitioners, you've read the Shurangama Sutra. The Shurangama Sutra talks about the current state of our society. It details it. Isn't it? Spot on. The end of the Dharma period specifically refers to our era, 500 years later. This era is marked by intense conflict. Nations are in conflict. Social groups are in conflict with each other. Individuals are in conflict with each other. Even married couples argue. Conflict's unavoidable. So today, conflict. What's so surprising about it? If there were no conflict, wouldn't that mean the Buddha's words were wrong? We see the phenomenon of conflict everywhere in society. Oh, the Buddha is remarkable. He saw it so clearly. So clearly. And he told us about it. In today's society, those preaching lies are like Ganges sand. Who are these false thinkers? They are the offspring of demons, specializing in destroying the Dharma. Their numbers are vast. The Buddha used the sands of the Ganges as a metaphor. Meaning, this type of, false teachings are pervasive in this society. In this era, the Dharma we encounter is truly as described in the scriptures, only with countless good roots and the ripening of conditions can you encounter the true Dharma. Encountering the true Dharma, able to progress without retreat. In this lifetime, one is determined to achieve. But we see too many people who encounter the true Dharma lose heart. Why do they lose heart? Good roots and merits. Conditions are not sufficient. If any one of these three conditions is not met, they regress. If none of the three conditions are met, then how can there be any reason not to regress? They will regress. So we ourselves must strive to maintain non-aggression in our practice. You need to particularly increase your progress. If there are differences in our good roots, it's not a big deal. As long as the language is excellent, it's fine. We say, Master Shandao, in his commentary on the Contemplation Sutra, this commentary is also known as the Four Books. It is circulated. The chapter on the highest rebirth in the Four Books is explained very well. He tells us that those who recite the Buddha's name are reborn in the Western Pure Land. For followers 3 levels and 9 grades. All differ in language. This sentence, we must not take it lightly. It is very important. It differs in language. If our language is excellent, Even those of us with lesser good roots and blessings can achieve the highest grade of rebirth. His speech and his way of speaking is different from those before him. In the past, most great virtuous ones believed that the highest grade of rebirth was likely for bodhisattvas. The highest grade. The middle grade of rebirth should be for arhats and pratyekabuddhas. Ordinary people get reborn. This was the view of the sages. Chandao, not how I say. The way of goodness is to be good at. This distinction between great and small sages. Great sages are bodhisattvas, small sages are ravakas and pratyekabuddhas, and they are unrelated to elephants, all differing in language. This statement suggests that we, ordinary people, can all aim for the highest heavens. What is work? Every day, no break. Chanting the Buddha's name. In the early years of the Republic of China, we still had a large Buddha recitation center at Leiyang Mountain in Suzhou, the site of Master Yingguan. At this site, couples would practice daily without interruption for 360 days a year. Someone enters the Buddha recitation hall and chants Buddha's name every day for 360 days a year. They think of the Buddha, and with their mouth they recite the Buddha's name. How could they not become a Buddha? Becoming a Buddha is an extraordinary achievement. If they recite the Buddha's name for 2 or 3 years, and then leave the Buddha recitation hall to go elsewhere, they might regress. Then they listen to this person's opinion and that person's opinion, and they change their mind. You see, isn't that a lack of understanding? Reciting Buddha's name. The same goes for practicing Zen and studying teachings. There are no exceptions. So the teachings of the Dharma masters. What is the most extraordinary reason? I've also thought about it for many years, indulging in delusions, and even now I haven't achieved 40. I think if there are truly like-minded people, we should promote Mahayana Buddhism to the whole world. We should form a group of red-haired people. All the Dharma masters who give lectures should join this organization. Every day as usual. Research and discuss. Research and discuss. Give lectures every night. 360 days a year. I would have a Jan family dedicated to giving lectures. The genius contestant is the Jan family. 360 days daily. One scripture, tirelessly. Again and again, repeatedly. To explain. Continuously delve deeper. Be their cause not to success. From understanding text, gaining concentration and enlightenment. Then he succeeds. Like in ancient times, Master Qingliang. At Mount Wutai, he specialized in lecturing on the Avatamsaka Sutra. He lectured on it 50 times in his lifetime. We later generations see this biography, and we are incredibly envious. Just think, if someone wanted to study the Avatamsaka Sutra, they could go to Master Qingliang and listen to it 50 times. How not master? They would definitely achieve mastery. The Avatamsaka Sutra carries such weight. Lecturing for 8 hours a day. Lecturing for 8 hours a day was what Master Shizhen did in his time. 20 awards. Shakyamuni Buddha had 20 generals in his time. We see people at Jinchang 20 refers to the ancient Indian 20. In India, a day and night is 60. 3 periods during the day, 3 periods at night. During the day, early, middle, and late periods. At night, early, middle, and late periods. 1 day is 60. So, 2 periods. One of their periods is equivalent to our current 4 hours. The difference of 20 is equivalent to our current 8 hours. You should know that Shakyamuni Buddha used to speak for 8 hours a day. Every day he taught 8 key lessons. Did he have any delusions in his mind? This speaks to the excellence of language. You see, a lay Buddhist society is considered quite good. Every night, 2 key points are discussed. 2 hours out of 24 hours, with a clear mind, listening to the teachings, and then 22 hours of delusions. How can that work? This language approach doesn't work. 22 hours of delusions. That's poor. So, if you ask, why our practice today cannot be accomplished, why our minds are easily swayed, the reason lies here. This was said probably about 30 years ago. When I was in Taichung, I was close to the elder layperson Li Bingnan. At that time, the Saguan Library organized a university-level Buddhist lecture series. Layperson Cai Rongwa from Malaysia was a student in the first session of that lecture series. The lectures had 4 students first session, so I was very familiar with them. The world is impermanent. Layperson Cai Rongwa passed away last year, or the year before. You see, I watched him study at school, watched him learn Buddhism, watched him practice medicine, and watched him retire. Watched him pass away. No tape. These are all things that should alert us. Buddhism teaches us to achieve the ultimate and perfect Buddhahood. It doesn't teach us to become arhats, nor does it teach us to become bodhisattvas. Such a disposition. Where can you find it? To say that such a disposition doesn't exist is not true. Language doesn't exist. I'm getting old now. I need to focus on the Buddha whole. And in the future, the young monks will take over. I encourage you to discover. Go and engage in the work of spreading the Dharma and benefiting others. Yes. Do your best. Retire at 60 or 70. 70 is the traditional retirement age in ancient China. You see, we read ancient books. Actually, it refers to retirement. That intention is retirement. In ancient China, 70 was the retirement age for officials. So when you reach 70, you can retire and focus on chanting in the Buddha hall. Do your own things. Are there 2 such places? By balancing discipline and practice, you can fully absorb the Dharma. So this is where we talk about the Buddha. Helping sentient beings, seeing them mature in their language. Arise with boundless joy. The Buddha provides us with favorable conditions. We need to develop this intention. You might ask, what kind of merit is the greatest? The most meaningful and supreme merit. Nothing surpasses it. Organizing a group To build a top grade, chanting hall for rebirth is the greatest merit, boundless and infinite. Oh yes, indeed. In the explanation of the peach medicine, it tells us, also saying the Buddha spoke these two words. He said, the Buddha holds the intention of helping sentient beings. The gene for sentient beings to become Buddhas has matured. This explanation was not mentioned by the ancients. It is stated so decisively, so affirmatively. The opportunity for sentient beings to become Buddhas has matured. I speak of the difficult to believe Dharma. The Pure Land method is called the difficult to believe Dharma. To help these sentient beings to achieve the ultimate and perfect Buddha land, this bad habit, there is no way to describe it. Only then did the Buddha speak. What Master Uya said is very correct. After we read it, we are sincerely convinced. So this is why all Buddhas and Bodhisattvas from the 10 directions say, those whose roots have matured. There is no one who does not proclaim this Dharma method. From this, we can know that the roots are not mature. In other words, those who are not mature are not yet qualified to become Buddhas. Those who are qualified to become Bodhisattvas, the Buddha will then proclaim other Mahayana teachings. If a sentient being is qualified to become an arhat, the Buddha of the Pratyekabuddha realm will then teach them the path of the Ravaka and Pratyekabuddha. Further down, if a sentient being has strong emotions with deep wrong views and cannot yet escape the 6 realms of samsara, the Buddha will teach them the human and heavenly paths, encouraging them to live a life where they can still attain human rebirth, so as not to fall into the 3 evil paths. Therefore, the Buddha compassionately and earnestly teaches all sentient beings according to their needs, plural. And then achieve. The minister is a metaphor. Like a large cart. In ancient times, technology not invented, the vehicles of ancient times, large carts, the largest were horse-drawn carriages. Typically, a large cart pulled by 4 horses was considered very big. This large cart could seat over a dozen people. Small carts, pulled by dogs or sheep on narrow paths, could only seat 1 person. The Buddha used this as a metaphor. Great and small vehicles, to illustrate the teachings, to help you achieve to a certain stage. Sincerely, reaching the goal of the path, that is the small vehicle, helps you escape the 6 realms of reincarnation. This is small vehicle. The great vehicle, on the other hand, helps you transcend the 10 Dharma realms. This is the great vehicle Dharma. Nowadays, transportation is different. Large planes can carry hundreds of people, and ships even more so. The intention is to use transport as a metaphor, help sentient beings from afflictions, life and death. This state, transcend reach the other shore of body and nirvana, using as metaphor. So originally, it's great vehicle Dharma. Not only is it the great vehicle, ancient virtuous ones in their commentaries tell us this precept is the minister within the great vehicle. Not only is it the great vehicle within the great vehicle Dharma, but it is also the one vehicle within the one vehicle Dharma. What is the one vehicle Dharma? The one vehicle Dharma is the multiplication. In the later years of the world-honored one, speaking the Dharma at the Lotus Assembly, he announced to everyone, there is only the one vehicle Dharma, no second, no third, except for the Buddha's expedient means. This is Shakyamuni Buddha truly explaining his original intention, his teaching of sentient beings with a truly equal heart. There is only the one vehicle. The development of the one vehicle Dharma is to make you a Buddha. To make you a Bodhisattva or an Arhat would be doing you a disservice. You must be made into a fully realized and perfect Buddha. All achieved within one lifetime. The perfect Buddha light. Three vehicles. Two vehicles mean Ravaka, Pratyekabuddha, Bodhisattva. Two vehicles are lesser and greater vehicles. These are all the Buddha's expedient methods, not the true method. Presumably, Master Qingliang, upon hearing the Buddha's teaching, the elder had some realization. In the annotations of the Avatamsaka Sutra, it mentions his writings, supporting the scholars, having cause but no result. Further explained in the Lotus Sutra, this is the same idea. Why is that? Because becoming a Buddha is the result. If one does not become a Buddha, then that result is false, not real. Scholars of three vehicles, Ravaka, Pratyekabuddha, and Bodhisattva, have cause but no result. But those of you who have invested the principle have both cause and result, which is remarkable. How many types of sutras have both cause and result? Besides our sutra, there are the Avatamsaka Sutra and the Lotus Sutra. They have both cause and result. The other sutras do not have this. So since ancient times, these great masters and virtuous ones have recognized the Avatamsaka and Lotus as the perfect teachings. The one vehicle Dharma, above the Mahayana. There's another sutra, Brahmanet Sutra. It is in the perfect teachings. So in ancient China, the great masters and virtuous recognized only these three as the perfect teachings. In this sutra, within the night dust. Why is that? The Avatamsaka Sutra concludes with the precious record of the 10 great vows. Only then does one achieve perfect Buddhahood. Every word and sentence of this sutra is considered to be close to the Buddha's words. The essence of the Avatamsaka returns to the infinite life. So the ancients said, this sutra is the ultimate among the ultimate teachings. Supreme, indeed. Today, we are fortunate to encounter this classic. It cannot be lost or wasted, and it takes many lifetimes and great effort. It can also be said that the maturation of infinite good roots, merits, and conditions is required. Some encountering this sutra still do not believe. We see this, we nod. Yes, yes, indeed. They should not believe. Why should they not believe? Because it is a matter of faith. If everyone believed as soon as they encountered it, then the teachings of Shakyamuni Buddha on the difficulty of faith would not hold. If 100 people all believed, where would the challenge be? It's generally difficult for people to believe. And after learning, many lose heart. We nod, yes, that's right. It is indeed, as the Buddha said. Chant the Buddha's name. The sound. Reciting the Buddha's name with every thought is the fruition. It should be the cause and condition of the Pure Land. This teaching, truly inconceivable. So this is the meaning of the Mahayana. The Buddha often reminds us in the sutras, as in Avatamsaka, in the world and beyond, all dharmas are manifestations of the mind, manifested in a single moment. Set, it is the mind's appearance. So it is also said that all dharmas arise from the mind's thoughts, and we enjoy blessings every day. Buddha's fruition, ongoing. In Chinese history, there are records and Song to Yuan. Zhao Zinan was a literary scholar. Zhao Mingfu. His calligraphy was excellent, and now his calligraphy models can be seen everywhere. He was skilled at painting horses. He was accustomed to painting horses. Naturally, he often observed the form and movements of horses. In his mind, he thought about them every day. One day, he took a nap at noon. He was dreaming about horses as well. He was truly fully absorbed. He slept for quite a long time. His wife went to wake him, and at that time, they had mosquito nets. So when she pulled it open, there was a horse on the bed. His wife was startled and woke up. She asked him, "What did you say?" "I just saw a horse on the bed." He thought to himself, if a horse can become a horse, then can't a small Buddha become a Buddha? That really makes sense. So, fellow students, remember this. If you think like a bodhisattva, you'll become a bodhisattva. If you think like a ghost, you'll become a ghost. If you think like hell, you'll become hell. Whatever you think, you become. Buddha is very clear about this principle and the truth of the matter, teaching us to enjoy happiness. Remember Buddha. Think of Buddha. In the present and in the future, you will definitely see Buddha. Why not enjoy happiness all day long instead of indulging in other delusions? That's a mistake. So from this point, we truly feel that a proper Buddha recitation hall is very necessary. A truly proper and ultimate Buddha hall is vital. That Buddha recitation hall is where you go to become a Buddha. So this, the meaning of the Mahayana single Buddha vehicle. The fourth small section, infinite life,